should you buy? So everyone knows Star Wars Battlefront 2 launched in a terrible state. It's just a fact. I mentioned it in my last review about a year ago. There were loot boxes, there were microtransactions, and it was just about money. It was just greed. Everything was greed. Everywhere you looked in this game that was meant to be an escape that cost £60, there was greed. It was everywhere. You couldn't enjoy yourself. But after all these years with consistent content updates, and now the fact that Battlefront 2 had its support ended about a year ago, is it worth buying or playing via Game Pass in 2023? That is the question. And remember to leave your comments down below about your thoughts on Star Wars Battlefront 2. Do you like it? Do you plan on playing it? Have you played it and dropped it? Did you play it at launch and never went back to it? Let us know. Let us know. Get the comments down below. Plus, Star Wars, it's the biggest IP on the planet, I think, so everyone's got to have an opinion about it. I'm just happened to make a video, so let's just do it. Let's go. There will be spoilers for the campaign in this video, but I'll let you know as the spoilers come in, so I'll give you a little warning. But, you know, other than that, no real major spoilers unless there's a spoiler warning, naturally. So, yeah. And yes, the sequel to this video, which probably will be coming out in the next week, is the original Battlefront 2. We're gonna do it. I've got to do it. I've promised. Let's do it. So, right off the bat, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was advertised as a story where you play as the Empire side for the first time in a while, okay? I mean, the games tend to do this. You play as Starkiller, you played with the Empire in Force Unleashed. But obviously, it's Disney, and they're not going to really allow you to do that fully, so it's not really an Empire story at all. I mean, when I first played it, I was really excited to see this downfall of the Empire from the Empire's point of view, you know what I mean? To see everything that you've worked for be burnt to the ground. Unfortunately, everything just sucks about it. There is nothing redeemable about this campaign whatsoever, okay? Everything is played safe. I said this in my last review, but it's still the same now. Everything was played safe. The gameplay was safe, the story is safe, the level design is safe. It's essentially the safest Star Wars story you can tell. Safer than Force Awakens, I think. That being said, there are some pretty cool moments, okay? There are some very cool moments, actually. So this is where I'm going to go into spoilers. So basically, the campaign isn't very good, okay? The campaign's not very good if you don't want spoilers, okay? Just don't buy it for the campaign. Please, don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. You will hate yourself, you'll regret spending your money, and you'll just forget your bank account even existed, so you don't have to stare at the money that you spent, okay? Don't do it. Don't do it, please. I beg. Anyway, spoilers. So, obviously, if you've played it or you don't care about spoilers, let's talk about it. So, you play as Luke, you play as Leia, you play as Han, and you play as Kylo Ren. Oh, and Lando. You do play as Lando as well. That's pretty damn cool. But most of the story is focused on Iden Versio, who is a very boring character, a very generic character, and someone that I just don't like or, you know, or felt connected to in any shape or form, you know? It's just a boring character. You know what I mean? She just appears, she's like, oh, the Empire, oh! And then something happens, like they're gonna let civilians die, and all of a sudden she's on the rebel side. I mean... It's not very good, okay? It's just not. It's not good writing. You don't get invested in it. You're just like, what's the point? Oh no, Hask, the enemy, your friend. I don't care. I've been with this guy for about 20 minutes. Why would I care if he betrays you or whatever? So that sucks. But let's move on to the good stuff. Kylo Ren, the ending, the last mission, that's really cool. I really enjoyed seeing Kylo Ren, okay? I really like Kylo Ren even in the actual films. I think he's the best part of those films, like many people do. And to get to play as him, get these little moments to see how his like force mind trick would work in a gameplay aspect, I thought that was really cool. That was a really good choice. That being said, with the other characters like Luke and Leia and Han, why on earth did they not get Mark Hamill to play Luke and Harrison Ford to play Han Solo? Leia, I can understand if the voice acting was done after Carrie Fisher passed, but those two are still alive, you know? Don't cheap out on us, EA. You put loot boxes in the game. You could put some decent voice actors in. Not saying the voice actor is bad. I'm lying to you. Not saying the voice actor is bad. Luke's voice actor is great. He played Jack Cooper in Titanfall 2. I thought he was really good in that as well. But he's really good as Luke. Okay, obviously he doesn't sound like Luke, but it's close enough. And the guy who plays Han Solo, I don't know his name unfortunately, but yeah, he did a very good job as well. Everyone did a very good job in the voice acting department. It was just really weird to not have the original actors appear for their roles, you know what I mean? Because it's just another chance to work together to get that chemistry going, but they didn't do it. Maybe they just didn't like games, but Mark Hamill loves games. He plays Joker in Arkham City. He plays loads of things. Anyway, point is, that was cool to play. Everything else, though, sucks. Like everything else, the writing sucks, the level design sucks. The level designs are just so generic, it's just so boring. You always go into an area, you stand in an area, you shoot waves of enemies, and then you go to another area. That's the entire campaign. It's just so bare bones. At minimum, you get a chance to develop a Star Wars campaign, okay? You get a chance, like a once in a lifetime chance opportunity to do that, and you go with the safest option possible. I don't get it. Just put some passion into it, man. Just put some passion into it. The music's pretty good. I mean, Star Wars music is always great. You know, the OSTs are always great. It doesn't matter what you're watching. You could be watching episode 2, and you'd still have a great time with the music. So I can't really talk about that much. But other than that, it's just a very forgettable game. I've already forgotten a lot of the missions. It's just boring. Like, okay, it's cool to fly, Han Solo's Millennium Falcon. You know, actually play as Han Solo in the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, that's cool. But I could just do that in, the Lego games. Why do I care? Do something new. Do something unique. The budget you've got is insane. Point is, the campaign's not very good. I don't know if everyone agrees with me. I know people don't enjoy it, but also there are a lot of people that do enjoy it from what I could see online. But let me just sum it up. The AI is bad, the level design is bad, the story is bad, the writing is bad, and the visuals, I mean, it's a pretty good looking game. It's pretty good. It still looks great. So, but honestly, there's so many negatives, I can't say it's a good campaign. So let's move on. If you are enjoying this video, smash that like button, maybe even subscribe. Now, this is the big one, the multiplayer. Everyone plays Battlefront for the multiplayer, okay? So this is where we're going to go really in depth with the gameplay, because, the campaigns are kind of boring. So Battlefront 2 had one hell of a hill to climb. When it launched, it was in a terrible state, as I've mentioned. Loot boxes, it was laggy, it was a bit of a mess, to be honest with you. The progression system was so poorly made and tied into loot boxes, it made playing the game kind of pointless. But there was potential there, and over the last 5 years, not 6, because nothing's really changed much over the last year, but over the last 5 years they added content, they made some quality of life changes, the loot boxes were removed, all of that stuff, and it's in a very, very good state now. So let's talk about some of the main things. First off, the maps are gorgeous. There are lots of maps as well, and you get maps in all 3 eras of Star Wars, okay? So you get the prequels, you get the original trilogy, and you get the sequel trilogy, which is, a lot of content. As well as all that, you get the character customization, all the characters, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Darth Vader, Lando, Han Solo, Leia, Rey, Kylo Ren, Finn. Remember Finn? Man, they really screwed over Finn, didn't they? He could have been so cool. And all of it's, all visually looks great. Maps are also not just pretty, but well designed. Each map usually always offers multiple ways to flank, multiple different options to get to certain areas with vehicles or specific heroes, being able to flank, get into the back, take one flag, then go around to the next one and just fly off in the aerial jumper. It's all very well balanced, okay? It's all very well balanced. And the best part is that the amount of players that are in these games is pretty insane anyway. You've got 64 players in there almost all the time, but every choice you make can impact the game, which is vital to these big multiplayer games now. I mean, I feel like the new Battlefield lost that, as well as previous Battlefields, but we're not getting into that. But every choice you make has a chance to win or lose the game, I think. Because if you flank at the right time, you could change the tide. It's fucking amazing. It's just... it just works. You also have multiple game modes, from Supremacy, which is basically Conquest, Conquest from Battlefield. And then you have Galactic Conquest, which is basically Rush from Battlefield. You get what I'm saying? And then there's heroes and villains, so you can play as your favorite characters and take on 4 other players or 2 other players, depending on which game mode you pick. So you can pretty much get any Star Wars experience you want out of this game. My favorite pick right now, though, and I didn't play it last year unfortunately, was the Ewok game mode. The new Ewok game mode is amazing. I love it. It's so cool. You get to run around as like a little Ewok and you just attack people. It's so good. It's infected. Imagine that. Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo. Put infected back in your games, man. Infected is fun. Ewok game mode, fun. Awesome. Along with all the the popular characters, you get your usual grunts and different higher ups. So you get your let's say infiltrator instead of assault, or aerial instead of heavy. You can pick all of that with battle points. But my personal picks were always the jet troopers or the aerial troopers, whatever you want to call them, or the infiltrator class. But whenever I pick them, I'm just a beast. It's still the same from last year. I think I'm really good with the aerials, okay? I'm not going to toot my own horn too much, but I think I'm really good. I'm not very good. just compensating here, man. I suck. The sound design is incredible, though. It's undeniable that DICE know how to, get the sound design just right in every single one of their games. Everything just sounds great. The lightsabers, when they light up and it goes, it's like, oh, it's so good. It's really good. There's a lot you could praise. So I should move on to the negatives, because this video is already getting way too long. I really need to go back to full proper scripts, don't I? So, I mean, these negatives will be nitpicks, but I still think the lightsaber combat is a bit shit, okay? It still feels very floaty to me. I like it a lot more than I did last year for no apparent reason, because it wasn't updated or anything, but I just found myself getting the gist of it a lot easier, a lot quicker than last time. And I did enjoy myself quite a bit, but that said, it's still not the most impactful lightsaber combat, and obviously I'm not expecting like Force Unleashed or Jedi Fallen Order levels, but I do want a more modern take on it, man, like For Honor or something. Obviously that could be its whole separate game, and maybe they're making that at some studio, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't work for Battlefront because that'd be too difficult, but I personally want something like that. Because it does turn into a lot of spamming, and you block occasionally, and then you throw your force out, and then you go and spam again, It's just one of them. Also, the only other complaint I really have is the gunplay. Sometimes that can feel really off every now and then, because you get shot behind a cover. I can't remember what exactly that's called, but it was always an issue in the old Battlefield games, as well as the old Battlefront games as well, I think. So that can be a little annoying when it comes to like being shot behind corners because of ping or lag or whatever. But it's it's always hectic, so you really won't notice it that much. But when you do, you're just like, oh, that's really annoyed me because I was going on a streak there. But what can you do? What can you do? But other than that, I really don't have many negatives. This is probably one of the best Star Wars games you can actually play right now. It's kind of insane how this ship was turned around. It's incredible. Okay, I do think you should give Star Wars Battlefront 2 a shot in 2023. It may not be for you, but it's worth downloading. Having a casual, fun time. Thank you for watching.